I'm Ninelia, and we are excited to have professionals from gish SEIDEN today to talk with you all.
Okay, before the presentation begin, we have some announcement. Is on Wednesday, November 24, we will have an info section regarding application for next semester directorship and executive position. And for next Monday, we have the meeting with Claremont Graduate University. They will present on their master education program. So we encourage everyone to have the camera on and please wait until the end to ask the question with the raise hand feature on Zoom. Okay, Ninelia, you can take it away.
Yeah, without further ado, we have Sargis Isavi from gish SEIDEN presenting on the importance of networking in the accounting industry. Please, Sargis, take it away.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sargis Isavi, and I'm going to get the PowerPoint presentation started. Can you guys see the slides?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. All right. So, okay. Like you guys, I went to CSUN. I'm an alum. I'm a tax manager at gish SEIDEN. I've been in the CPA profession for 20 plus years, and my specialties areas are trust and estate, gift tax returns, business and individual tax returns. Now, before I start talking about the networking, which is the topic of today, I'm going to tell you a little bit about our firm, our culture, how we do work, and you know, our setup. So our firm, gish SEIDEN, has been around almost 80 years, established in 42. There are about 40 of us, 5 partners, and our clients range from mostly businesses that generate revenues $500,000 to $650 million. We're in the Warner Center Towers in Woodland Hills. So we have our mission statement, vision, core values, and strategic objectives. We believe in these. We train all our employees on these because these are like the 4 pillars. This is the foundation that we build everything on. So as you can see, our vision is to be a leading local firm offering valuable services to small and mid-sized businesses, their owners, and other successful individuals in the Southern California area. Our mission is to implement strategies that enhance the well-being of our team and the clients. Core values: we believe in honesty, integrity, innovation, creativity, teamwork, respect, client relationships. Obviously, we want the staff and everyone to develop their skills personally, their competency, and be accountable and responsible. And as far as strategic objectives, we enhance the success of the firm and its team members. We try to improve the firm's succession and retirement plans, and so that everybody has upward mobility. Develop and maintain the firm's technology, maintain a firm learning environment, and of course, maintain a firm culture based on teamwork. So what really sets us apart is that even though there are 40 of us, and we don't really qualify as a small firm, but we're not a large firm either. So everyone's approachable, from the junior accountant admin to all the way up to partners. We're a very tight group. We know everyone's spouses, kids. It's a very teamwork environment, and that's what we base. That's one of the major cultures of our firm. That's one of the main reasons why I joined the firm almost about 5 years ago. We have been awarded many times for being the best place to work. As you can see, 2009, 2010, 12, 13, 16, 17, 18, recently in 2021, best firm to work again. So we are active in many different arenas. We are active donors to Make-A-Wish Foundation. Provisors is a networking group that we participate in, all partners and managers, and it's a very prominent group. There's a lot of commerce that you give and receive. We're a member of Cal CPA, obviously, and we're members of Woodland Hills Tax and Estate Planning Council, and a member of Nexiu. I'll tell you more about some of these on later slides. We have been involved with various different charities, to name a few: San Fernando Valley Rescue Mission, Children's Hunger Fund, Operation Gratitude. We were recognized as a community partner of Make-A-Wish Foundation, and we participated in Walk to End Alzheimer's and many, many other events. Los Niños de Baja, I skipped it on the top. These are kids that we've been sponsoring for years, and we provide them with, gifts a few times a year for their birthdays and different holidays. It's really, it's all about giving back. Because of, we have our annual management summit. This is something that's very unique, that's really sets us apart. It's an event usually at a resort, nearby, but last year we had to do it virtual. This year we're thinking of going back to the in-person. So as you can see, I'm the one on the right. What we do is, it's a 2-day event. Everybody has a voice, everybody gets to speak up. We establish, a roadmap for our future. We talk about where we're headed, what things we should tweak and change. So it's really, an amazing event that very, very few firms offer it, because everybody has a voice. You get to speak up, you get to talk to partners and tell them what you think, So from, like I said, admin all the way to managers and supervisors. Last 2 years, we had to resort to, online activities. So as you can see, we, on the top left, the boxes, these are different staff and partners. And that same guy in the tie, top left, is the same guy at bottom right, who's Batman. So we tried to keep it light. We had different, we had an escape room, quiz breaker to get to know each other better. There were prizes, we did a puzzle. So I want to keep it light and keep it fun, because I know it's not easy for people to be working remotely. So we offer various different benefits, from flexible time policy. You get your PTO of 128 hours. That's 16 days of personal time off. Plus there are 8 holidays, and your CPA exam days are paid for. There's 401k and medical, dental, life insurance. Your membership with Cal CPA, it's all paid for. All your continued education is paid for. So those are things that you really do not want to take for granted. I worked for other firms for many, many years, and none of the firms I worked for ever offered these, like paying for continued education, or basically willing to invest in your future and in your training. So this is an amazing opportunity that you get with our firm. And if you get picked to join our firm during the first year, these are some of the things you'll be trained on as far as bookkeeping, general ledger analysis. You'll be doing business tax returns. That's what we mean by year-end accounting. There's for audit side of it, because you'd be exposed to both tax and audit. And that's another thing. Very few firms our size still do audits, because the exposure is too high, liability is too high. So they don't want to dabble in it, but we do. We have a separate audit department, so you'll get your audit hours, as I'm sure you know. Once you take the exam, pass the exam, you need audit hours to be able to get signed off. You'll be exposed to compliance work, like preparing 1099s, payroll taxes, sales tax, and business and property taxes. And you'll be signed up for various different seminars and continued education programs to enhance your knowledge. So some of the industries that we're involved with, some of the industries that we have clients in are, we have 2 of the largest dealerships. There are clients. We have craft breweries. We have hospitality, manufacturing firms. We got a lot of professionals, attorneys, engineers, other CPAs that are our clients. Real estate. We have a ton of clients that are real estate investors or real estate managers. We do startups, security systems, wholesale, technology service provider. We have, a couple of large size firms that provide internet related services. So those are some of the services that we provide and some of the industries that we provide services to. Now, these are the services that we provide. We do audits, reviews, compilations, ton of planning. We do a lot of analytical throughout the year. It's not about just doing a tax return. You want to plan, whether it's quarterly, monthly. That's where the value comes in. You want to be proactive and plan for things. There are, from business succession planning all the way to retirement planning, tax planning. We do it all. And we have access to the latest technology software. I'm working from my home office. I have for the last 2+ years, and it's phenomenal. I can't even tell the difference. I've got 3 computers, 3 monitors, 2 computers. It's as if I'm in the office. So that's thanks to our full-time IT guy that made it possible for us. So we keep up with the latest technology. As far as on one of the earlier slides, I told you guys about our firm being a member of Nexiu International. Now, what that is that we are a member firm of Nexiu International. That is the 9th largest accounting association in the world. Now, there are over 245 firms, other firms that are in 150 countries, 115 countries that are members of Nexiu International. Now, what it is that it's a very large pool of professionals that have been vetted. So if we, let's say, if you have a client that's expanding to, let's say, open shop in Tokyo, Japan. So we reach out to a member in Japan, Tokyo, who is a CPA and familiar with the rules, and we connect them so that way our client is taken care of the best way possible. Same thing, we just got two clients from Australia that they needed to expand in the US, so they reached out to us, and now they're our client. We're taking care of all their business needs. So that takes us to today's topic, the importance of networking in the accounting industry. This is extremely important, and I chose this topic because you guys have not had much exposure, and maybe some of you have, but this is an opportunity for me to kind of elaborate on this and help you guys present yourself in the best possible way. So without any further ado, let's get started. Networking helps provide a crucial opening to get a foot in the door. So what does that mean? So even though in-person meetings really aren't required because of COVID and everything that's been happening to get that solid relationship set up, you should still always take a personalized approach. What does that mean? I mean, when you set up a virtual meeting to do for a networking project, you definitely want to look your best and be on top of your game. Just because it's on the screen doesn't make it any less important. You got to recognize the importance of longevity in professional relationships. So try to maintain the connections over a long period of time, because that's what it comes down to. I will remember the same person that came to meet the firm 2-3 years in a row, not just one time they showed up and they stopped going. It's important to work on that longevity relationship, because that's what it comes down to. Because look, we are professionals and we meet a ton of people. If you are persistent and you basically try to maintain that relationship long term, it will pay dividends. No doubt about it. Now, there are some tips and tricks I came across I wanted to share with you. Quality over quantity, obviously. Practice good listening skills. I'm going to talk more about these. Provide value. Ease your way in and prepare questions in advance. These are very important tips. So what do I mean by quality over quantity? So Focus on making fewer connections of a higher caliber. And then one of the next slides will also talk about this. Let's take LinkedIn, for instance. You don't want to connect with anyone and everyone. You want to make those connections count. So again, quality over quantity. You want to build your relationships with a limited number of key accounting contacts. Because again, shotgun approach works in some industries, but not our industry. It's very important to make your presence known and make it count by establishing that personalized relationship. So next tip, practice good listening skills. So there are 6 key active listening skills. I'm sure you guys are aware of these. You want to pay attention. You want to withhold judgment. You want to reflect on what you learned. You want to clarify what you learned, summarize it, and share it. So connecting with people on LinkedIn, like I said, is important, but strengthening those connections requires listening. So you've got to be a good listener. This is a very, very extremely crucial ingredient in our field, in the accounting field. Active, attentive listening will help you be heard and provides practice for future accounting clients. So remember, if you practice it for your networking with professionals, it'll help you down the line when it comes to dealing with clients, because it'll become a second nature. Extremely important. You want to be definitely a great listener, because when you just talk and not listen, that sends the wrong messages, and you'll see that in the next slide. So one of the things that is extremely important and helps you really stand out is providing value. What do I mean by that? So basically, when you research a special or unusual accounting topic that is of interest to you, not only you now learn something, but it'll give you an opportunity to talk about it if it comes up in a professional meeting. Now, think about it. There are 10 people attending a networking meeting, and you're the only one that knows that topic. Why? Because you took some initiative and read about it. So that will definitely make you stand out. You're not doing it to help you stand out. You're doing it to learn. But believe me, I've tried it, and it works like magic. If you do that, it will, we're talking, relevant topics that are being talked about now. AB 150 is one of them, ERTC, Employee Retention Tax Credit. They're not that complicated concepts, but if you read up on them, which they're not that involved, it will give you a huge advantage. Rather than emphasizing on selling yourself, share information about your interest area. So again, try not to sell yourself too much. Try to focus on sharing information. So if you know something, a topic, by sharing that will automatically increase your chance of being noticed and being basically ahead of the competition. So this I can't talk about enough. Ease your way in. I have sometimes students that send me multiple emails back to back, and they demand coffee breaks, lunch, coffee meetings, lunch meetings. That is not how you go about it. So you want to keep it friendly and low pressure being key. You do not want to bombard professionals with a ton of emails, because that's not, remember, we have a ton on our plate, so that's the last thing we want to deal with. But you want to aim for strong commitment, instead of launching into sales pitch after a few short exchanges, because that really could backfire, because then that's the quickest way of moving you all the way to the bottom of the pile. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to be that person. Prepare questions in advance. So look, it's extremely important to do your homework ahead of time. When you go to a networking event, you want to do some research about the speaker, and other attendees. You want to know about them. You want to know about their profession, about their business. And it's easy, it's the website, the firm website, or even internet, Google. You can Google people and you'll learn a ton. So this is very important, and I'll give you an example of how that is effective. So you want to formulate targeted, well-researched questions in business and networking context. So have your questions ready ahead of time. Going back to what I mentioned earlier, Provisors is a networking group. I'm part of it, and it's not cheap. You got to pay an annual membership to be part of it. So we have our meetings once a month, but then we have chances to meet with other people throughout the month if we choose to. We can reach out to someone and say, hey, can we have a meeting? They're called troikas or doikas. So when somebody gives you business, that's called commerce, you want to give them a testimonial in front of the whole group, because you want to let them know that you got business from that individual or his firm. So what do? You need to know everything about the individual's business, his profession or her profession, what they do, their firm, because you only have 60 seconds, of which 80% of it needs to be about the person giving you the business, giving you the referral. So if you're not ready, I always do my homework ahead of time. The night before, I look up the individual, see, I know I have an idea what they do. They're an attorney, they're a criminal attorney, but I need to know a ton more about them because I want to praise them. I want to tell the whole audience what they did for me. They gave me a great client, but I have to tell the audience what they do. So if I don't do my homework, I have 60 seconds, and 80% of that, 48 seconds of it, I have to talk about the firm. If I'm up there and I'm not ready, it's basically going to be a disaster. So you want to do your homework, you want to prepare, you want to know what you're talking about, especially when you have a very short amount of time, on the podium, so to speak. So you want to make sure you do your homework. I can't stress this enough. It's very, very important when you go to a meeting. Prepare questions, study your presenter, know some stuff about your presenter, because that'll give you a huge advantage. Now, there are some networking event do's and don'ts. We're going to talk about the do's first. You got to set a goal, okay? I know for freshmen, it's hard to look that far into the future, but it's important to set that goal. So you want to focus on what outcomes do you hope to achieve. Now, if you get distracted, you got to remind yourself of your goals for each networking event. That's going to help you keep you on track. It's very important. It's easy to get distracted. Ambitious accounting professionals benefit from setting clear and achievable goals. I remember when I was going to CSUN, I had two groups of friends. I had the group that were super laser focused, and I had the group that just aimed wherever they could. They're like, well, we're just trying our best. Well, that's good, but it's not good enough. So you need to stay focused, and you need to have a goal in mind. So I mean, you're in this profession. That tells me that you like accounting, you want to do this. If you want to do this, then you want to make sure you stay focused and you basically don't lose sight of that goal. Dressing appropriately. You guys have heard it all, but I'm going to say it again. Professional dress inspires trust, and the accounting profession depends on trust. Everything we do, it's built on trust. Our profession, CPAs, are trusted. They're certified public accountants. We represent the public. If somebody that walks in my office doesn't trust me, they are never going to become my client. So looking professional, dressing professional helps tremendously with that. Dressing appropriately also conveys confidence, approachability, and positivity. So if you're dressed up, for the occasion, you're going to look your best, and you're going to be more approachable and trustworthy. Believe me. Be sure to choose properly fitting clothing, especially for networking events where first impressions count. So don't dress up like you're going to a wedding. Dress up professionally. Business attire. This is very important, both men and women. A polished appearance frees up your attention to focus on the interaction. So instead of worrying about, oh my God, is my tie or bow tie or my boots, everything looks good, you're going to be, you're going to focus on what matters, which is why you're there. You're networking and, making connections. So it's very important to factor that in. Now, other dues, you want to be concise. So accounting professionals meet many people at networking events, no doubt about it. You meet a ton of firms, a ton of people. Now, you got to be to the point so you can show, appreciation for and respect for the, professionals' time. Because look, we're there, it's pro bono on a volunteer basis. We're there to help you guys succeed and hopefully join our firm at some point. So in order to do that, we want you to come prepared. So when you're talking, excessive or fluent language can bore your listener and your message may get lost at the cost of a potential connection. So when you're there, just talking and talking and talking, you will get lost in the crowd, believe me. Following up on connections. So cultivate the uncommon but essential skill of making time to follow up with a prospect. It's very important to, once you have a decent conversation with a professional, you want to follow up and let them know that, and you want to do it within 72 hours, because if you wait 2 weeks, it's difficult because we get a ton of applicants, we get a ton of emails, resumes. So if you do it fairly quickly, that is a huge plus. Because after a few days, details of the interaction can quickly fade. So what we talked about, the topics that we connected on could be forgotten because of the sheer volume. So without a proper effort to follow up and build a connection, the other party may assume you no longer plan to stay in touch. So that's another thing. If you took you 2, 3, 4 weeks just to send an email, not only I forgot the details, but I figure, you're probably not interested in my firm. So now here are some don'ts. Distributing paper copies of your resume. I can't stress this enough. Accounting professionals know the importance of staying up to date, right? We know we have to be, stay up to date, whether it comes to updating your resume or staying on top of the latest changes to the tax code or what have you. So you know that what's left out is just as important as what's included. Save the paper copies of resumes for hiring fairs and job interviews, not networking events. So when you go to a networking event, don't take a bunch of resumes with you. That is not the proper arena for it. The resumes are for hiring fairs and job interviews. So if you get a lead, you can always follow up with an email, send your resume then. So that's an advice that, I can't stress enough. Using a shotgun approach, we talked about this a little bit earlier. Relationships with key contacts are built mutually through establishing trust over a period of time. A shotgun approach risks damaging, especially in accounting. So remember, you could send your information to 200 firms, but really 180 of them you're not even interested in because of various reasons. So don't do that. Focus on the ones that you like and try to make a connection that's going to last. So plant the seed to improve the chances that your contact may later consider you as a trustworthy and valuable resource. Very important. You do not want to go for the shotgun approach. Some kids do that. Students, I shouldn't call you guys kids, if they want to go to from right out of high school, they do that. They send their information to multiple schools. Well, there are pros and cons, but this is different. For when you're considering a firm to join, you do not want to just send your information to everybody, because we talk to other firms and we talk to 10 other firms, and they tell us, yeah, the same person will send us all their stuff. We're like, okay, what are they after? We don't even have anything in common. You guys are, you guys have 200 locations across the globe. We only have 1 location. We're like not even, what is going on. So which one is he or she interested in? So very important. Some of the other don'ts: interrupting or talking over others. Obviously, Patience and attentive listening rank high on the list of critical skills for accounting professionals. Again, it goes back to the previous slide. You want to listen patiently and attentively, because it sends a lot, messages to the speaker. We know that you're there to learn and you are respectful of our knowledge and our time. If you interrupt or talk over others, you may miss important information. So I don't know if you've noticed, when you're talking, you're not listening. Interrupting also implies disrespect, suggesting that you hold a stronger interest in your own words than in learning more about your contacts. What does that mean? You care more about getting your own message out than listening to a professional who's been doing this for 30 years and whose experience is valued very highly. But by doing that, you're not really portraying that. Being intimidated. Okay, everybody gets nervous. I understand it. I've been in your shoes. I got nervous, especially when you meet an influential accounting professional. However, everyone you encounter, they're people just looking at you and I. They're human beings, okay? They started where you are now. So it's not, you don't want to think of it that way. They're just people. So try to remove some of that anxiety, thinking of it that way. Accomplished professionals exert considerable power and influence. I remember when I was at CSUN and Mark Dauberman, he had his own CPA review course, and he came and spoke in, to our class. And right there and then, I fell in love with the profession. I enjoyed his speech so much, but I was always intimidated to approach him or talk to him because of the position he was in. He had his own firm, prominent auditor, knew his stuff. But later on, I learned that, again, he's just like, when I got to know him, it was a super, super amazing, nice person to meet and talk to, by the way. So you don't want to put people on a pedestal out of intimidation, because that doesn't serve anyone well. So you don't want to, you want to try to minimize the intimidation factor, because I know some of it is always going to be there, but again, try to think of it that way. They were there, they were at some point where you are, and they've gone through all the hurdles, and they've been through all the challenges. So now that they're where they're at, they're just people with more knowledge. So be respectful, be professional, but don't be so nervous where you lose track of your thoughts. Last don't, neglecting to follow up on connections. We touched base on this a little bit earlier. Sending a thank you note may seem like just another task to add to your already lengthy to-do list. Look, we understand you got tests, exams, quizzes, finals. Some of you getting ready to study for the CPA exam, maybe. So putting another item on your to-do list, it's just a lot of work. Some of you might be unnecessary, but it does make a difference, because ultimately, why are you doing all this? You want to end up in a place where you are going to get a job and learn and gain experience. So to do that, you want to make those connections lasting. So follow through remains an important skill for accounting professionals. You want to make sure you follow through, and it'll help you stand out, especially when a job opens up. You will remember you. So that's very important. Now, this takes us to our summer leadership program. We have this program, our 2022 summer leadership program. It's on June 16 and 17 of next year. It's going to be a hybrid virtual event. So part of it might be in person, part of it hybrid and virtual. So the student leadership program really offers students the chance to get to know the firm, or learn more about the profession. It's a 2-day event. You'll see what our culture is all about. You'll learn about our values. You'll meet a bunch of us, from junior accountants senior accountant, semi-senior, manager, partner. So you'll get to see where, you'll get to interact with us. And you will learn about opportunities that our firm has to offer. There's going to be presentations. You'll learn about the industry, team building activities. So you'll have some chances to be involved in both tax and audit simulations. So this is a very, very insightful event, our summer leadership program. We put a lot of time and effort into it. I would highly, highly recommend for you guys to sign up. Sign up early, and you can go on our website or Handshake and sign up. I believe you will gain a tremendous amount out of this program because, like I said, many professionals, including partners and managers, devote time to this, and you'll walk away learning more than you did before. So it's a very, very beneficial program. I highly recommend you guys signing up for it. Now, we had a YouTube. You guys can watch this on your own, or maybe I can play it for you guys. I'm not sure if it will let me play it. I didn't practice it. I didn't open it.
So previously, when we were using spreadsheets, we were heavily meeting dependent. It took us hours to update our tasks and our projects. It was.
Are you guys able to hear and see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. So this is our firm. We we basically did this for Nexiu. They wanted us to put together a video of what our culture is about and what our firm is all about. So we put this together just to kind of tell them about our firm, and we won the the award for our region. So here he is, Daryl Gross. He's one of the partners, and here we go.
Jessica,
Hi.
we're really excited you decided to take our offer. Hope you're enjoying LA. Remind me again, how long is your commute?
It took me 2 hours to get here this morning.
2 hours? LA? That's not so bad. Anyways, before we get started, I would like to take you on a tour of the office. Does that sound good?
Sure, let's
Cool.
do it.
Let's do it. One of the things we really look forward to is our internship program. What we do every year is bring in recent grads, or soon to be recent grads, let them come in for a couple months and see what the real world work environment is like. You know, our interns are training right in here. Let's pop in and say hi.
Sure.
No beans on the floor. Elbows in, faster, faster, 2 at a time. Let's go. Elbows in, faster, faster. Did one drop on the floor? Cindy's gonna kill me.
At Gish, we take client services very seriously. The clients we usually serve are small to mid-sized business owners. So that means we do the business, the personal, and everything in between, which leads to a very close relationship.
What do you mean by everything in between?
Well, I think it's better if I show you. I hear Sam on the phone with the client right now. Let's listen to what they're talking about.
Talks well, but I'm sure about this. Listen, Josh, I understand his income is under the threshold. Yeah, I understand he lived with you the whole year, but you have to understand the IRS doesn't care that you love him more than your children. Yeah, I got the video. I'm looking at it right now. Josh, it doesn't matter what you dress him in. The IRS is not going to let you take him as a dependent.
All right, let's let Sam handle this. So do you have any questions for me?
Yes, I do. It seems like you're a very well-established company. How long have you been in business?
Well, we have been in business for 75 years. We're really excited about that. Actually, let me introduce you to one of our founding partners, Holly Gish.
Hi, nice to meet you.
And this is one of our junior accountants, Marty.
Hi, Marty. Nice to meet you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Wow. So you're telling me Holly's been here for 75 years?
Yeah, she takes really good care of herself. I think it's that Hollywood magic.
And Marty, you're telling me he's just starting off his career with you guys?
Yeah, he's about 30. I mean,
What?
he works long hours, he has a long commute, and it looks like it's really taking its toll on him.
Wow, I can
Hello,
tell.
I can hear you.
Oh, you're doing a great job, Marty. Let me tell you a little bit about our culture. We have our after-tax season party in Vegas, our monthly catered lunches, and of course, Nerf Wars. Which reminds me, our managing partner wanted to size you up. I mean, meet you.
Okay.
So let's stop in and say hi.
I'm Jessica.
You got a good shot.
To be honest, I don't know. I haven't shot one of those things in years.
She's on your team. Here, take this.
Thanks. It was great
That's
to finally.
all.
So that's the managing partner.
Yeah, you don't want to get on her bad side.
Daryl.
It's okay. All the money from the swear jar goes to charity. Okay, well, if you have any questions, remember, my door's always open.
Thanks.
Don't forget, visit us at gish SEIDEN.com. Follow us at Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter.
A major tech shock is coming.
So basically, everything that you saw is real. Maureen is our managing partner. Marty SEIDEN, he's actually the son of one of the founders. So he's not the student. It was the other way around. The girl, she's one of the tax managers. She's been with the firm for about 15 years. So we do those things. We have Nerf war fights periodically because, you know, tax season could take its toll on you. It's, you know, it's brutal, you know, number crunching day in and day out. So we don't overwork our staff. We have a full-time scheduling person that rebalances everyone's workload periodically. So we hardly ever go over 55 hours a week during tax season, which is, when you compare it to Big Four, you know, E&Y, they, on average, they're working like 80 hours a week. So I'm very proud of that aspect of our firm. So yes, that's our culture. And when we someday go back to the office, we'll resume those activities. But having said that, I thank you very much for allowing me to make this presentation. And if there are any questions, I'm available for you guys.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Going back to when you said, you know, obviously not to bombard them with a lot of emails asking, you know, for office hours, would it be better to ask, like, you know, in questions, email back and forth and just like wait for their response?
Yes, you know, you want to give them options. You want to tell them you're available, you know, Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays, you know, between 9 and 11. Give us more choices. Give us more options in your email. Don't just say, you know what, can we meet tomorrow at noon? Well, no, not really. I mean, I have a million things going on. But if you're more, you know, understanding of the volume that we're dealing with, and just give us a few options, a few different time slots, that, you know, speaks volume to me. That tells me that you're, you know, you care, and I will definitely do everything I can to fit you and to meet with you and take the time to, you know, spend an hour, 45 minutes. So yes, absolutely. It's emails are fine as long as you're just a little bit more, you elaborate on your availability so we can, you know, work around it. And also keep in mind tax season, you know, it's in the middle of tax season. It's obviously harder for us to get back to you promptly, but yeah, you want to keep those lines of communication open.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I have questions, Sargis. So how do you manage to ask lots of questions to your clients without making them annoying?
Well, you want to think about your questions. Number one, if it's a client that's been a client for a while, then you know what things you need. You look at last year's file, you look and see what things we ask for, and that'll give you an idea of what items we're going to need for the current year. If it's a new client, you don't need to worry about it because the partner has already met with the client, or they already have vetted them and they know what things we should ask for. So before that email or list goes out to client, you'll be well prepared on that. So yeah, bottom line is that do your homework. You know, study whether it's the client or a professional, see what items are of interest and what items are relevant. And then, you know, and then you can send your list out. But yeah, we have that with junior accountant when they first join the firm. We have a buddy system. So in other words, when you first join the firm, you'll have someone who's going to be your buddy. So you can bounce ideas off of them. You can, ask them all kinds of questions. Doesn't matter how much experience you have. Like when I joined the firm, I already had like 18 plus years of experience, but I had another manager that became my buddy. So just to become more familiar with the firm culture, that was a huge relief. Same thing with you guys. When you join our firm as a junior accountant, you will have another accountant that's going to be your buddy. So you can ask all kinds of questions. So if you're not sure about that email to send it to the client, whether you're being too redundant with all your questions, you can ask. So we have a buddy system. We have a mentor-mentee system. I have 2 of the employees that are my mentees, and I'm coaching 1 other employee. So we do have those programs that are very, very effective. So yeah, you always have access to those.
Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, I had my quick question is as a staff manager, any recommendations? Because I know among us, we have a lot of people. We start our first tax season next year. So do you have any recommendations for just like the entry level staff like us, how we can prepare for the tax season? And just like with any law, it appears at the end of the year, like the PTE and everything, how can we prepare for this, not to got, overburden during the tax season?
You haven't joined the firm yet, right? You're talking about preparation to join the firm?
I think I got an offer and I will join the tax season next semester. So it's just like it's my first tax season at all with the business and everything. So just a little bit confused and don't know ready to prepare or start to preparation for the tax season.
Have you ever taken VITA?
Yes.
Okay, that always helps. And believe me, having that on your resume, it sounds like you already got the offer, but that definitely, we like to see that on your resume. At least 2 years of doing VITA, because that gives you some exposure. And just, I always tell people, start with your own tax return. You can go to Costco and buy the program, what is it, like TurboTax, or you can even get it online. There are many, many software that are free online. So explore, experiment with your own numbers, with your own tax return, maybe even do, taxes for some of the, relatives of yours, kind of get that exposure of, having that basic foundation kind of strengthen a little bit, because that's where you start. We don't expect you to know anything when you first join, because we know in school, what you learn is different than what you're going to be exposed to, at the firm level. So, but if you have that, that'll definitely give you a huge advantage. Early exposure, yeah.
Thank you, Sargis. And thank you, everyone. So for this Wednesday, we have info session regarding application for the next semester directorship and executive position. And next Monday, we will have Claremont Graduate University. They're going to present for their master education program.
Have a happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.